Good morning, everyone. There's a famous book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. However, in this week's Torah portion, our rabbis teach us that there are some small stuff that you should sweat. The name of this week's Torah portion is Akev. Akev literally means heel, like Jacob was called Yaakov because he was grasping the heel of his brother Esav. But in this context, it means V'haya Akev Tishmon. It will be, if you will observe God's commandments, God will bless you. But the rabbis ask, why does it say the word Akev? It should have said the word if, the more common word for if. Why this other word, Akev, which can also mean if? Now rabbis say precisely because Akev means a heel. Our rabbis say what God's saying is you will observe even those commandments that people ordinarily stomp upon with the heel of their foot. The minor commandments that sometimes are overlooked and deemed as insignificant. V'haya Akev Tishmun, even those commandments that people tread upon with their heel. In the turn of the 16th century, there were two great inventions, the microscope and the telescope. The telescope allows us to see things, galaxies, the moon, the stars, Jupiter. The microscope allows us to see what's right underneath our nose. Small, tiny things. But what gave man greater benefit, the telescope or the microscope? More illnesses and diseases were cured through the microscope than the telescope, and a greater blessing for mankind. Sometimes it's precisely those small things that make all the difference in the world. It's the small commandments, the sweating the small stuff. You know, when you go to Walmart, you see the greeter. Most people don't even pay attention to the greeter. It's not a very important person in most people's eyes. But what he does from morning to night is fulfills the mitzvah and the dictum of our rabbis to greet every person with a cheerful countenance. He does thousands of mitzvahs, smiling at every person, saying, hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's the small gestures in life that sometimes can make all the difference in the world. Sometimes we look for the grand acts in life, to do something that will make us famous, something that will make headlines. But our rabbis are telling us, no, it's the small, thoughtful, caring deeds that we do that can make all the difference in the world. But it goes deeper than that. You see, when you look at the Atlantic Ocean, you see the sun reflected in the water, glittering on the water. But if you take one drop of water in a cup, and you could look into that one drop of water and see the same mighty sun reflected in it. God is not only reflected in the big monumental acts, but in the small tiny acts, because they may be small quantitatively, but the heart and soul and the feeling and the devotion that they're performed with can contain infinity itself. And therefore the Torah says, Vaya Akev Tishma'un, don't overlook the small commandments that people tend to trample upon with their heels. There's a story told about this Holocaust survivor who in the synagogue, he was the candy man. Many synagogues have a candy man who gives candy to every child, and children would come to him throughout the service and he would give them a candy, which was a way of encouraging them to come to synagogue with a smile and a little pat on their face with a lot of love and warmth. And someone asked him, you're an old man with a white beard, why do you preoccupy yourself with giving candy to the children? And he said, I lost my parents in the Holocaust in the gas chambers. He says, the only thing that I have left from my parents is the memory of the love that they showed me and gave me that still burns in my heart till today. He says, every time I see a child and give them a candy, I connect to my parents' love to me, and I keep their love alive by passing it on to children, for future generations. The smallest deed, like giving a candy to a child, could be imbued with so much love, so much memory, and so much feeling. And therefore the Torah says, when you go through your day, don't just look for the grand, mighty acts, the earth-shattering events. Every small gesture, every little act of kindness, every kind word can literally make all the difference in the world. Have a wonderful day.